Okay. Day 18 of the fast, February 18th, 10:46 p.m., 2024. Today was a bit of a rough day, not because anything really happened, but because I found out that something kind of unfortunate happened. It's one of my coworkers. One of my coworkers is in the hospital right now. I don't want to specify why exactly, but yeah, I want to say that when it comes to self-improvement, learning to love yourself and everything, it's important to try and find something to keep you busy and to keep you honest. At least that's what's worked for me. I don't want to say that I'm giving any advice because there's a lot I don't know, but based on what I have tried and what I have seen, finding the bare minimum that you can do, gaining those small wins wherever makes it much easier to come out of it. And it's really hard because you realize that as you go deeper, you have to unlearn a lot of things that you may have learned from your past that is making you think these things, do these things. And yeah, I used to be in a dark place myself a while ago. I never did anything, thank God, but oh man, did I fantasize about it all the time, some unfortunate accident or something. And luckily I was able to find things to convince me not to ever go through with it. And I realized that not everybody has that, but if you're going through something right now, it's important for you to identify first what it is that you're going through, what exactly. It was like not to generalize it, by using one word or something, but to know exactly what it is that's making you think and do certain things. It's important to always ask these questions because when you ask these questions, you start to get to the root of it. When you find the root of it, you can eventually pull the weed out. And I don't want to sound like I'm disrespecting anybody who's in a dark place right now because, like I said, I used to be too. Used to be in a very dark place a very long time ago. But it's important to start somewhere. And if you can't handle that right now, then that's not your bare minimum. You gotta find something else to do. Maybe stay busy, just finding reasons. Finding reasons to go against the grain. Like finding reasons to not follow up on a certain habit. Just find any and all reasons. Make that thing as difficult as possible for you to do. And once you have made that the hardest thing, maybe not the hardest thing, but like just incredibly hard to do, like you've put it so far in the back of your mind, which I know sounds crazy, but it's possible. I've seen it. I've done it. But if you're out there watching this, your past doesn't define you. Anything that happened to you, even the people you're related to, they don't define you. Whatever medical or anything, it doesn't define you. Only you can decide what defines you. And we make those choices every day. Which is why I decided to go against the grain, because I knew there was more. I knew that what I was feeling wasn't normal. And everybody knows this. Like, I feel like everybody subconsciously knows that something is wrong, but it becomes their normal, and they end up doing something they may regret in the future. I really do owe God for even being alive right now, because if He didn't remind me of the blessings I did have, however small, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. It's very possible I would have been able to convince myself at some point to do something that I would have regretted. And I'm thankful every day for that. Just remember, your past, the people around you, the people you're related to, the people you live with, they don't define you. You don't have to adopt anything or anyone that doesn't bring you closer to you. It's important to do a deep dive to understand what that means. Because there was a time where I didn't even understand what that means, and I still kind of don't. I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, that's why I'm doing this now. But that little voice in the back of your head that seems so loud, I promise you, the more you go against it, the quieter it gets. The more you do things that are the exact opposite of what it's telling you, the quieter it gets. And it's important to realize that progress is not a straight line. It's not. It's more like this. It's more like an EKG monitor or a heart monitor. It's like a heartbeat. It's like it has its peaks, it has its falls, it has its plateaus, and it just repeats the process over and over depending on what stage of life you're in. It's never a straight line. Doesn't matter how many times you do it. I'm still learning things today. Even though I can say that I know quite a few things, I can honestly say that I don't know a lot, and it is scary. I'm still dealing with the fear of unknown. And yeah, it's hard. I understand. It's hard and it's scary. But it has to be done. Because it's important not to let those voices win. I know that's saying a lot, but it's true. And yeah, it's important to realize that you learned those habits and voices from somewhere. And it's important to take time to identify them. But if you can't handle it right now, it's important to try and find things that help you ignore them. And then as you learn, as you actually find those things, you start racking up small wins, things that prove those voices wrong. And after you prove those voices wrong, It's real easy. I mean, it's not easy, but it's easier to tell them to shut up. It's easier to snap yourself out of it. It's easier to catch yourself going into those spirals. It's easier to face fear and discomfort every day if you just start with that. I can recommend a few readings and channels that helped me. One that really helped me is, unfortunately I don't have it, but it's a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Yes, that's the actual title. There's that same author made another book called The Book on Hope. And right now I'm reading You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins to help inspire me to do more. But those two books, along with something like, I also think Flowers for Algernon is good, even though that's fiction. That actually kind of put thinking as a whole into perspective. It's important to note whatever gifts we have, however small. And it's important to realize we don't want to give those up. The fact that you are alive right now, even if you went through hell in the past, is a gift in itself. You simply just need to flip your perspective. I honestly wish I could lend you my eyes so that you could see the world the way I do. Just for a minute. And if you did, you might actually realize that the world is actually pretty beautiful, despite everything that's happening to it. And it would be a shame to, not to appreciate it. You have no idea what you can offer to this world. Even just living and being happy, you have no idea how much that actually does when somebody sees that. You know? It's possible some people don't really have a complicated purpose, and that's okay. If you think you do, then you should find what it is. But if nothing else, your purpose should be to show what it's like to live life at the very least. It's hard and it's scary. I know I've said that a lot, but that's just because I understand. I really, really hope that I can see you all on the other end. I've been doing this for a long time, trying to better myself, change the way I think, and thinking in layers, asking questions. All the things that I've told you guys to do in previous videos. I've done it hundreds of times over, even if I didn't want to. I had to start by telling myself things in the mirror that I would have loved to hear. Not to just love to hear, but needed to hear. Things like my past didn't define me, and I actually, I look good. I'm capable of so much. Things that I needed and wanted to hear. Did I want to smash that mirror? A lot of times, but that's where I had to start. And after I started with that, I started racking up small wins. Right? I already knew that I had played video games so much that I was good at that. So I went to tournaments and I committed until one day I placed first in a bracket. And I feed off that win so much. I work very, very hard for that. And I remind myself of that every time. now I'm trying to like rack up more wins. Like I may not have completed a 3-month fast at some point, but I almost got there. And before that, I was able to give up my vices for shorter time periods, and it's important to realize that. It's important to get comfortable with like discomfort and try to find things that motivate you to go forward. And motivation is not just a set emotion. It's an emotion you get from pursuing the work. Sometimes it doesn't always come. And that's okay, but your brain is built to like solve problems. Whatever problems you want it to solve, you have to do those things. Because you're telling your brain, okay, this is the puzzle I want to solve. How do I solve this? And right now, it seems like it may seem like you know nothing. But then as the days go by, you make realizations. You get better. Your hands can follow your brain easier depending on what you're doing. It was like, for me, that's how it works with art. Right? I have scattered years of practice in art. Never consistent, which is why I still don't really have any pieces to show you guys yet. But I've been at it for a long time, technically. Just not enough time yet. And that's the important thing. These things take time, and that's okay. That's really okay. It's okay to not be okay. But I don't think it's okay to stay not being okay. You should want to feel better. You should be doing whatever it takes. That's not me lecturing. That's just me saying from experience, it's the only way. I hope y'all are taking care of yourselves. God bless y'all in your endeavors.